admin. I'll see you to chat. I'll stick the messages up. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. What a surprise I have for you tonight. Our B is back.
Yay!
And for all our newcomers, we've had a lot of new subscribers, Deb. B is Deborah Singleton. She is my my other half from Yorkshire. So we're both Queens of the North, but I rule the Lancashire side and Deb rules the Yorkshire side. And it works very well for us, doesn't it, Deb?
It does, yeah. Yeah, it works out perfectly. Well, hello, everybody.
You know, you have been so missed. Every week people ask me, where you are, when you coming back, back. Yeah. But it's a lot, isn't it, trying to put one out every week. It is. Yeah, it's not easy. It isn't. So she's dipping her toe back in tonight.
I am. This is my baptism of fire.
Yeah. So I'm manning the chat, so that'll all go wrong. So nothing new there, folks.
Right.
So let's start tonight. We are thinking of doing Heebie Jeebies.
Heebie Jeebies.
We've all had them, haven't we? A person, a place, a situation that you just get that shudder.
Yeah.
That hair stands on your head. So you've been chatting a bit about it backwards and forwards with some folk, haven't you, Dev?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it popped up on a forum that I'm on. What it started off as who have you come across that's given you the heebie-jeebies?
Right.
And I said that I was in Pudsey one day, I'd been doing some shopping, I was walking along, and about 100 metres in front of me, I looked up and saw this bloke, and there was like railings at the side of to protect you from the road, there was railings at the side of the path. So I didn't have anywhere to go. The shops at the side were like betting shops and estate agents, but I got this feeling off him as he was walking towards me. And I don't know why, he looked pretty ordinary. There was nothing outstanding about him. But the nearer that I got to him, the more creepy that I felt. Anyway, as he got sort of coming up to level with me, I kind of glanced at the side of him, and it was like a shell. It was like his soul had been sucked out of his body. There was absolutely just gave me the shudders as I went past.
Like a facsimile of it.
Yeah. It was, and when he was walking, I don't know if it was that drew me attention, but when he was walking towards me, it was blank. But there was just like waves of evil. It was the weirdest thing. So then this chat kind of progressed, and we ended up talking about places. And I said that I was in Bradford once, and I had to go to the other side of Bradford, but it meant going all the way up to go all the way along, which I'd seen this road, and I thought I could cut down there, and it cut a massive corner off. I'd get to where I wanted to be in a couple of minutes. So I turned down this road, and part of it was a bit cobbled. So it was an oldish road. And as I started going down, it started narrowing. And then when I got to the point where I'd committed myself, the real heebie-jeebies, the walls were like 100-foot high stone walls either side of me. The car only just fit.
Oh, right, yeah.
What am I going to do? So I was committed then, and I had to go. And it was the tightest S-bend through these walls. And there was like, the walls were green and slimy, and it was running with water. There were rats everywhere, rubbish everywhere. And I was panting. I was panicking that much. I couldn't reverse because I'd committed myself too far. There were no reversing back or turning round. But then when I put this, I didn't say where it was. I didn't say what city it was. Nobody knows where I'm from. 2 people on that forum said, that's in a city beginning with B. And it was Bradford. And apparently this place had a name. It's been shut off now, thankfully. But this place had a name. The Walls of Jericho is its nickname. But I found out when I looked up this road, because I thought there's got to be something. I had to pull over when I got out the other side of it because I was in that much of a state. I was checking. I looked it up. And the only thing that kind of is a bit spooky about it is where one of the Ripper's victims was left for dead. It was on, as the road goes down, there's a bit of a grass bank and then another road. And then there's a traveller community. And she'd been left on the grass in the middle, and the traveller community thought it was a baby crying. And then when they came out and found out it was one of the Ripper's victims, but that was next to this road. I'm not saying that that's got to do with the spooky thing, but oh God, so creepy. But like I say, they've shut it off now. They've put barriers across, and it looks like I've seen a few council vans down there. So it looks like they used it as sort of council property or whatever. But oh God, no.
They're probably building it at some point, Debbie, and then
Probably will.
won't know, will they?
No, oh, it's horrible. Yeah, so they're my two spookies.
Well, I was thinking, as you were talking about it, two things popped into my mind. A, I don't know how to type on my own laptop. No, I'm kidding. I'm trying to chat as well as do this. Do you remember you had a strange experience around the Ripper case, didn't you? When you were younger, and it was all, we were like, all of us were from about 7 for me up to me being about 13 with the times that he was doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember one night I was telling Mark about it the other day. I was coming back. I don't know where it'd been. It was dark though. It was probably about 9:30 at night. I must have been to work, so probably 16, just on 16.
Yeah.
And I'm coming home, and I had to walk through the industrial estate. And I get off the bus, and I starts walking, and I don't know why, I just got this feeling like my head was on a swivel. Deb, I don't know. Do you remember back in the day, you used to wear court shoes?
Yes.
I just slipped my shoes off, like put them in my hand, didn't see anyone, and just thought, run, fucking run.
Like it.
And I just started running. And as I ran past what is now the burger place, this guy came running out from side. Oh, and he was gaining on me, Deb. And I was screaming for my dad. And we lived in the terrace streets by then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad, Dad, Dad. And he kept running. He didn't like me shouting. My dad didn't put him off.
Didn't put him off.
No. I don't know. I got away from him, Debbie. And the only cut to get in was I had to run down the little snicket, like the little ginnel. Oh, Debbie, I was so frightened. He'll cut me off.
Yeah.
He'll come down the middle bit and cut me off. That's all I could get in my head. And then I heard our greyhounds coming. My dad had heard me open the front door.
Let him out.
Yeah, the dogs had come. And they chased him, Deb, and they made a bit of a mess of him. But he must have been waiting there for some girl.
Yeah.
To come along. But whatever warned me, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
But it was it.
The only thing I can remember was when it was only afterwards, when I've read loads and loads of books about it. He used to sit, the Ripper used to sit in the KFC at Headingley in the window watching out for victims. And me and my mum used to go to the pictures in Headingley. They had 2 little picture houses in Headingley. And if it was my birthday, we used to go. And we'd go for a KFC first, and we used to sit in that window where he sat. That's kind of like creepy.
Yeah.
Not nice.
You pick up an energy because before you saw that creature that you saw, you had a feeling. You had a bit of a warning, didn't you? Do you mind telling us? Because there's a lot of new people. Do you mind going over that account for me?
No, not at all. Me and my husband had been to the other side of York to visit some friends. And we didn't leave. We'd been over to the pub, and I was designated driver. So we didn't leave while early hours at morning. And York, I live in Leeds. Not obviously I live in Leeds because nobody knows that, but I live in Leeds. So York's like 25 miles away, but then this was beyond that. So we're talking 30 odd miles. Excuse me. So we set off. I was driving. Hubie was drunk. So he promptly folded his arms and went to sleep. So I came down the A64, which is a dual carriageway.
Yeah.
And there was like a blanket of fog on about 2 foot off the road. It was really hard to see where you were going. And I'm like, it kept coming and going so that it was there. And then all of a sudden it had gone. But I did notice as well, there were no other cars on the road. There were it was the early hours of a Monday morning when lorries and what have you starting off deliveries and nothing. And I kept going, and we got towards Leeds, and then I came towards about 7 miles from home. I started feeling really, really antsy and a bit apprehensive. And I don't know why, because I had the radio on, I had the window down, I was listening to music, having a cig, I was thinking about getting home and getting to bed. And anyway, the nearer I got to home, the more terrified I started feeling, and I couldn't understand why. And I tried to wake him up, and he was out of it. So I started down the hill at Horsforth in Leeds. There's a hill that drops down. There's 2 lanes coming up, and there's 1 lane going down. And when you get to the bottom, it goes over. It's not a bridge as such, but it's like a dip in the road, and you've got the railway line, which goes from, I think it's Skipton, Keighley, somewhere like that, to Leeds, and then you've got the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, and then you've got the River Aire. So all these run parallel to each other. And I got to just coming down into the dip and going over, there's a bus cutout, and stood in the bus cutout was this massive shape. It was like 7 foot by 4 foot.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I looked at it, I was going to die. So I started really panicking then, and I kept my eyes forward, and I gunned the car past. And as I went past, I looked in the rearview mirror, and it had stepped out into the road. And all I can describe it as was, if people have said, well, what was it? And I'm like, if I had to put a label on it, it would have to be Bigfoot, because of the shape of it and the shaggy.
Yeah, the outline.
Yeah, that's all I could. It could have been anything, but if I had to put a label on it, it'd be that. Anyway, I got home, and I was checking like mad, trying to get my keys in the door, and he's like, "What's up with you?" And I got in the house, and he went, "Oh, it could be a tree." And I said, "It wasn't a tree. Trees don't step out into the road."
Yeah.
So then he said, "Well, it could be somebody in fancy dress waiting for a bus." And I went, "Not at that time of morning. Early hours at morning. Bus stops at 11:30.
Yeah.
Anyway, next day I had to go up to my mum and dad's. Well, my mum and dad were split up then, but I was going up to see them both, and I had to go up this road. So I went up and I thought, right, I'm going to see if it was a tree. There were no trees there. There were concrete fencing, but everything had been cut back. So all that was behind the fencing.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing except the bus stop itself. Nothing. But then, was it about 2019? I said to you, I'd driven down there, coming back from my dad's, I think. And as I got to the level, I started thinking about it when I got down that road. And when I got level, I thought the car was going to go out of control, because it felt like claws in my shoulders from behind. And this awful voice in my head saying, "I'm still here."
Oh.
And it was like that split second. But I thought I was going to lose control of the car because the pain in my arms from the gripping. Yeah. But like I say, it was a split second thing. But yeah, that was creepy.
Oh.
Yes.
Have I got an echo?
I can't hear it.
Right. I can hear it my end. As long as no one else can hear it, I'm fine.
I can't hear it now.
I've been working a case recently. Katie, one of the ladies that we have in chat with us. And Casey was coming home from work only a couple of months back, about 8:30 at night, lived down. And as she stepped into the garden, this feeling has hit her that she's not alone and that there's something there. So she gets into the house as quick as she can. She said, normally I don't lock up or anything like that. I'd locked everything, doors locked up and everything, heart pounding. And she said she managed to calm herself down, get into bed, and the cat woke her up. She has a male cat, and he was puffed up, and he was hissing and snarling and growling out the window where she said the curtains were shut, but there was something out there. And she said she got up and slammed on the security light, and whatever it was kept itself just outside of that illumination. Yeah. And I remember when you wrote your book, there was a young lad got in touch with you, wasn't there?
Yeah.
He talked about these similar kind of figures that were kind of crouched in
the road, down the road from me.
Yeah. And what me and you worked on back then was learning to trust that feeling, wasn't it? That rather than make the scary event what we concentrate on, what give me that feeling, and can I kind of build on that? So I've been working with Katie on it.
Yeah.
I'd say within about 2 weeks of that, of me, well, at least within a week of me speaking to her, she's tap, tap, tap on the window. Similar situation. Cat's like, what's going on? And the bit I missed out on was when she was a little kid and her grandmother passed away. I think she connected at that moment with her grandma. And unfortunately, something kind of morphed out of a pattern within the curtain and became that thing that terrified her. Yeah. But she just still see him on occasion when things are like really bad, like me and my night visitors.
Yes, yeah.
And when it showed up again, that demon gone out of there.
Yeah.
And feeling when he's around. And I was trying to explain to her and everybody else that we do get these warnings, don't we? Sometimes we push asked him. So she's out with a friend on the Ridgeway, which is in Oxfordshire. So it's an ancient trackway, one of the oldest trackways in the UK. Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful, amazing places down there. Only gone for a dog walk, daytime, not a problem. Everything feels fine until they get to this one bit in the walk, this old stone farm. And she said she felt it, you know, and the dog starts guarding them. But her friend's like, oh, it's fine. We'll just walk through. It will be absolutely fine. And she said, as we walk through the little wood, everything is just silent, completely silent. And the dog just took off for the car. And I said to her, you seem to be getting warnings.
Yeah.
Before these events, like, we have that feeling of like, oh, yeah.
Your sixth sense, yeah.
Mm. And like, so I'm trying to get her to conscious. I think she's in the chat, actually. I saw her.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
There she is, yeah. There we go. Let me pop that back up. See, and if I move you nearer, I might be able to read that.
Possibly.
Yeah, and then I can pop. Hi, Bob. If there's anyone in chat that me and Debbie haven't said hi to, I've got a minute, and Deb's not got hers on either. She's not got access to it.
I can't put my chat up is the problem, so I can't even type and say hello to anybody. So sorry about that.
Yeah, but yeah, we're just gonna wing it. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah,
you're right.
It kind of reminded me of the case at Burnabat, where that couple had stayed in a cottage the year before and everything was fine. You go back to it, and it's a winter stay. It's what they do in the winter. And I forgot to mention that Katie had mentioned this strong smelling pea. She'd had an experience at Kielder Forest.
Right, yeah.
Camping with scouts. She's in an hammock, and something starts padding around that campsite. And this strong smell of like fox pee and wet dog, and you know, it's described in the way, isn't it?
Garbage.
And I thought she got a warning on that situation as well, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that couple in the cottage, the bit I was getting to, got up the next morning. She saw a creature at the window, the mum, and it tapped on the window, the same as the creature did for Katie, and the same as it did for Fred, and the same as it was for Louise in Buxton. This tapping on the window with what's described as half of a hand and half of a paw, like a mixture of the two. If I'm right, I'm right on that, Katie will put it through. I hope that is Sarkle's Kitty. I would love to speak to Scout Sarkle's Kitty again. I really would. I popped it in the WhatsApp group earlier and asking people, if, you know, ladies, have you had an experience you can think of? I didn't give them much notice though, really. Maybe late as always kind of thing. But our Susie got back to us and she said, there's a big old house in Pembrokeshire and it's now like, just like building, so there's like a recording studio in there and that kind of thing. Yeah, so, and there's a little tiny woods on the side and you go through a stone arch. I mean, it sounds lovely. And down a little trackway. And she said every time she goes through there, her hair stands on end. Like literally stands on end.
Yeah.
And the legend is, or the local knowledge is, that the last heiress that owned it set fire to it. Because she felt that there was a demon there that dwelled there. So she set fire to this beautiful country mansion and kind of walked away from it, kind of thing. You know, is it something about us, Deb, or is it the land itself? Or
I think it's a combination of both. I think we're picking up on what's been left behind. So that's giving off. I mean, they go on about a stone tape theory, don't they? Where buildings old, or stones old, memories and things.
It holds that like a tape almost.
Yeah.
I think the situations where we see residual energy, that's just repeating.
Yeah.
But the thing that you mentioned at the beginning, it really jumped me because I had a question. I got sent a question in email, and it was, I know about black-eyed children, but have you ever heard about a black-eyed adult? And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not, you know, what do you mean kind of thing? And similar situation every Saturday. You used to go shopping with your mum, didn't you? That's what you did then.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
You went shopping, you got all your things that you needed for the week, and then you went, and if you were good back then, she might let us go in the Wimpy or the Golden Egg or something, or, you know, get like this kind of treat. And that's what the girl was doing. The first McDonald's had opened, which was a massive thing in the UK, wasn't it?
Oh, wow, yeah, it was.
And that's what she was doing. She was going there, and she minded her mum, like, can I have a milkshake kind of thing, an American milkshake? And she said this man, they were just crossing on the crossing, and there was just this feeling that he gave off. And as she got closer to him, she realised that he just had nothing. It was just black.
Yeah.
And she said, like, that's how I would describe him, as a black-eyed person.
Yeah.
And it was kind of similar to what you said.
Mm. I didn't kind of get a look at this bloke's eyes, but I reckon if I'd have looked at him, he probably would have had black eyes because he was just devoid of anything. Complete shell.
There is just something about that, not being able to see into a person's eyes.
Yeah.
It's off-putting for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a reader of people. If I can't see their eyes, I think, what the eye did.
Yeah.
And that takes me concentration away then, because I'm trying to work out why I can't read them. But
yeah, exactly.
Everything's like I see, like kind of thing. I don't know. Chris has put, my personal theory is about vibrations, as in thinking of people, entities, everything as a whole series of complicated vibrations and frequencies. Definitely. Like the old radio thing, isn't it? Yeah. The analogy that we give, that you're tuning into a radio. And I think some people, like Katie and me and you and lots of the people in chat, will tune into an area or a person.
Yeah.
You're not going out to tune into anything. You just kind of, it's a situation, and it happened. It happened to me when I went to Huttonley Hole. And we did Arkle's Kitty case, and there was nothing I could have done about that. And I've never had anything take me over. I'm so strong-willed, and she was so angry that she'd been labelled as this like Scarlet Woman. Yeah, and all of the history was really about the men in the tale and not her.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
you know, and I felt. And I felt a jealousy. It was like, look at all the privileges that you've got. Yeah. That's kind of how she was with me. She was really, it wasn't a nice interaction. No. Sometimes it's like that, innit? And I was completely normal in the car, completely normal. And we got about 2 miles away, didn't we, Mark? Yeah. And I started banging on the window. Yeah. And I was like, 10 to 2, 10 to 2. And he's like, Debbie, stop. And I was like, I wanted to go in that direction, and Huttonley Hole's that direction. And when we got to Huttonley Hole, I realised that that's where home was. But even her own mum was like, I'm not burying her. She's a fallen woman. Yeah, I know. But that, in what were we on? Was it like, it was 18 something, wasn't it? Or 17 something. I've not worked on Kitty case for quite a while now. I think it was been a while. 18 something. And I still think about that woman that owns the mill. Yeah, because you know what Mark's like with dogs. He ended up finding
animals in general.
Was he an old Labrador, Mark? Yeah. Mm. And he belonged to the woman who owned the mill now. And for people who don't know Kitty's story, she was a 16-year-old girl. She was found dead in a ford in Yorkshire, which is a crossing place on a river. And it was said that she'd done that because the guy that she was pregnant to refused to marry her. And I didn't get that. I got hit on the back of the head. I went down on my knees and I was in that water, and there was nothing I could do. Yeah. And the strange part about the case was she was found within the water, and they took her up to the mill, which is only walking distance. It's on the same property. They take her up to the mill. The mill owner's wife cleans her up, puts a sark up, which is like a white sash, as we call it, like your under thing when you put your clothing over the top. Yeah. My grandmother would call it a pinafore. Yeah, so she'd have like a pinafore, and then she'd put something over the top of it. An all-in-one, my mum used to call it.
Yeah, that's right.
Some ladies call it a slip, don't they?
Yeah.
There's lots of names for it. And when she came back, Kitty's body had gone, as had the slip that she was wearing. It had completely gone. And every year for 16 years, a man was pulled from the ford dead. Yeah. And eventually they got a priest in, and he did a blessing on the land, and it said that it had stopped everything. And I just think that she had been waiting a millennia for somebody to come along that she could tune into. Yeah. I went in with no perception. I didn't think anything about it. I was thinking about going to because I knew that there was this really nice like cafe there. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get a cake and a brew. Yeah. It was dead sunny. It was really nice, weren't it, Mark? But did we have him? Was he a tiny puppy? Yeah. We had him, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
It was just, and it was a beautiful place. It's a Quaker village, like mentioned in the Doomsday book. The buildings were so old, and there's a little stream that runs through it called the Fairy Beck. So I was in a day, I was relaxed, like really chilled in the car, and the next thing, bam, absolutely bam. I mean, it happened to you on when you were in psychic circle, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, getting taken over, yeah.
Mm.
But nothing came from that other than just being taken over and not being able to do anything.
I think it's more shocking because you've been able to put things off and pass them off you, and then you just get this. I wouldn't even call her a spirit, Deb.
No.
Like raging energy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a peculiar feeling.
Yeah, I'm just having a look what Corey's put. He said, I've seen something run across the road in the dark the other day and it moved super fast, almost blurry.
How big was it? How big was it, Corey?
Corey, if you don't mind me asking, how large was it when it ran? Hi, Kay. Hi, October.
Hello, everybody. Sorry,
Everyone
I can't type.
in chat. I'm trying to go through it really slow so I don't miss anybody's questions or anybody's comments. But yeah, if you don't mind, Corey, would you let us know what size it was? So Fiona's saying she was in a B&B in Dartmoor where they woke up in the night and they'd been squeezed like they were squeezing her to death. That must have been awful. Now, Kay, I have never been to Abbotland.
I haven't. I've not even heard of it.
Let me just pull it up on my map. I've got my map open. Abbotland. That's a new one on me, sweetheart. Scott, Stu might know. Debbie knows his Scotland.
Oh yeah, Stu would.
He's promised me he's going to come on and do a live stream when he can. Have I spelled it wrong? Bear with me, folks. I'm not in a minute. No, not Scotland. Abbotland, she put. Oh, Scotland, that's me. It was a spelling mistake.
Spelling mistake, right.
Oh, Kiz, thank you. That's really, really kind of you.
And Kiz as well. Kiz has donated.
Oh, they're absolutely wonderful, Deb. I'm just grateful that they tune in every week, you know. I really am. I'm grateful for the odd share.
Yeah.
JS is saying I get strong people like an empath with people and ghosts, just not any cryptids. Do you know, JS? I think it's different for different people.
Yeah.
Because some people only have cryptid experiences and other people have varied experience, and then you got people who only see spirit and people who only see UFO. I think it's the person that dictates what we can tune into.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Can't believe I put Abbotland in and look for it on my map. I'm not
I didn't realise it was a typo. I saw it and I thought, I wonder where that is.
I'll tell you. Can't believe it. There's Oslo saying, I'm in a wheelchair, but I can walk when I channel spirit. I have a little story about that, if you don't mind me sharing. When Mark had his UFO incident, it was up a barrow, wasn't it? Like quite a muddy, slippy.
A large hill to me.
Yeah, to Mark. And he was really, really worried about going back. And you know how bad I couldn't get up that hill at Esho, and I went to meet you at Esho.
That was shocking. But that was shocking, that hill.
And he said, I can't do it. And I went, I can. And how I did it, I don't know. I just marched to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just, I don't know. It was like something else.
Took over you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. When I got there, I got to the middle and I could just see just people crossing in a line and putting down like bread or putting down like flowers. And then carrying on the walk. It was a really, really nice place. And when I looked to see what that would be, it was Winter Hill, then where I was. Next one's Cannock.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe that has been a route.
Yeah.
All the time, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
One night I'm going to get him to sit down on the couch with me and do a live, and he's going to tell everyone about his UFO encounter.
Yes, he is.
He is. I'm going to make him do that. Our Zane wants to come on. He wants to share his button-faced gnome. What does he call him? The button-eyed gnome.
Yeah. Button-eyed gnome?
Well, yeah. He's about to be 11 now. And when he was little, when he was tiny in his room, he was messing about with one of my cameras and took a photograph of a button-eyed gnome. It's like a little gnome, and it's got button eyes, and it was sat at the end of his bed.
Wow.
And I had to go in and close his room down.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Remember when I told you? Yeah. And I had to shut it all down for him because he said like a hairy man had been in to see him and it scared him. He looked like a wolf man.
Didn't you make a little thing for him? And then you made one for his friend?
Yeah, I did. I made a besom for him. And I made a
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, and I said to him like that. And in the end, we gave him a torch, didn't we, Mark?
Yeah.
And we said every time he comes in, you put that torch on and say, no.
Yeah.
This is my bedroom. So we're driving around this summer, as you do, and he says to me, there's a boy at school. He'd come out in the morning to walk to school, and he'd seen a UFO in the sky. And our Zane had took his sighting report, and then he was telling us about an incident where they were crossing the fields.
Yeah.
They had this strange chattering. They couldn't work out what was being said, and every time they got near it, it kept the same distance away from them all of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he's at like 11. He's really interested in sharing those things. So he said to me, Nan, can I do a live video? I said, yeah, of course you can. Of course you can, son. Yeah. So I said to him, we'll do that. Next time you sleep over, I'll just do a random live, and me and you will sit down on the couch and you can tell people all about your experiences.
Yeah.
And what it's like to be Deborah Hatwell's grandson, I suppose. Because to him, I'm just Nana Deb.
Mm.
Aren't I, Mark? Yeah. I'm just Nana Deb.
Yeah, you're just normal.
I'm not even top Nana. My mum's top Nana. Yeah. And then I'm mediocre Nana. And I can't carry on. But you know what I mean? My mum, I can't outshine my mum, Deb. It's not a Nana. The land can outshine her. The rules she had for us do not happen with her great grandchildren. Yeah. So
right. Can I just?
Yeah.
Stig's saying there, and he told me about the. In fact, I think we were talking at the time it happened. We were texting. Heard something one night. Wasn't a dog, like nothing I've ever heard before.
Right.
I can't remember now whether he was sat in the garage or in his bedroom, but anyway, there was a howl, and he said it was like a mixture of human and animal. Bearing in mind, Stig lives in New Zealand. There are no large predators in New Zealand. They don't even have foxes. So
and so again, Debbie, it sounded like. Did you say like a human?
A cross between a human and an animal. Oh, in the office, yeah. It was in the garage outside.
Right.
And it sounded like a cross between an animal and a human. And I went on YouTube and I was trying to find howling noises, but there were a couple of similarities, but nothing was definite. But it unnerved him, and he doesn't unnerve easy.
The bit I missed out on Katie's was, I missed it out and you just reminded me. They heard a horrifying scream. That's why the dog ran back to the car. I completely missed it out. You've gone from a little farmyard up into the woodland, and this, she said, we looked back down to where we got the creepy feeling.
Yeah.
And this awful scream. She said it sounded like a woman being attacked, but not a human.
Yeah.
So very, very similar situation. Stig, I worked a case 3 months ago, just before the new year. A chap who lives in Durham is the closest I'm going to say. Just off the, yeah. And he heard at night, his dog woke him up, a bit like Katie's cat. Dog's on his chest, like pushing down on his chest, waking him up, get up, get up, get up. And she's glaring out the window. And he said it was red hot. So the window's wide open. It's like probably June, July, August time. And he said it's a really steep embankment down from where his window is down to the river walk where you would walk up and go. So like really, really steep. And he said, I can't work out what's wrong with dog. And the next thing it'd be hear this. I think he said, I tried nodding back to sleep and she wouldn't have it. She just kept, no, wake up. You got to wake up. They're staring out the window. And he said this. He heard it from far away at first, and then it got much, much closer. And he said it sounded like a female screaming, but not human at the same time. So really, really similar, in all honesty.
Yeah, it was. That's how he described it. It was like a man. I don't know. The way he described it, like I say, I was trying to look on YouTube and I couldn't found similar, but it wasn't quite. I kind of knew what he meant when he told me. I could kind of picture the noise. But yeah, he said it was unnerving because it was I think it was quite late at night as well, if I remember right, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. But it's such a quiet area where they live. There's nothing. So I'm trying to rule stuff out like you do, even though I'm a believer. I still rule stuff out. Could it have been this? Could it have been that? Could it have been somebody messing about? But there was no other noises or anything. So very strange.
I think as humans, me and you say it all the time, but we rarely use the peripheral side of our brain. less we're in for tuning in. And I think if it was a noise that you would be used to in Britain, I don't think you'd register it. You know, it's got to be unusual, aren't you, for you to think, what the...
Well, yeah, I mean, we hear hedgehogs shagging, we hear foxes howling and shrieking at each other. We hear owls, and we know all the different noises that our location has. So when it's something out of the ordinary, it kind of does set all your hackles going.
Don't get me wrong, I sometimes get reports from people, and they're probably out in the wild for the first time, or they've gone camping for the first time, and when you try and explain to them that cows and sheep make unearthly rackets, especially if you forget to feed them. Do you remember them cows at the back of us? How noisy were they? It was like a football ground. You knew when the farmer out bedroom, they just got louder and louder and louder and louder, and didn't stop till you came in the field. Do you remember? Yeah. They were right noisy. But lambs will scream, you know. Yeah. You can hear some right strange noises when you're out and about. Katie said that scream was like a scream howl, like she'd never heard. She said her dog's going crazy. And this is Kay, and I saw a huge fat black dog. Oh, I have a thing about black dogs, and I don't like them.
No, you don't.
Somebody asked me today if they said that they like Jojo, they would really, really like to see a dog man.
Yeah.
No, I just would not. James has put, hi James, I'm starting a hotel in Nuremberg, Germany for work. I'm from Bradford. I'm back home tomorrow. That's some time. Yeah. All right. He went into a huge forest out in the sticks. It was very creepy and absolutely huge. I think some places just have what I would call a connotation. They just have a feel to them that's not. I don't know. Yeah. There's places I won't go. I don't like walking there, and I don't know why I don't like walking there, but I don't.
It's funny you should say that, because I've just not this last weekend before, I were in Grimsby, and we'd been over to Mablethorpe by the coast, and on the way back,
right report there.
On the way back, we decided to cut through to where our old village is and drive through there. Well, she took a wrong turn, so we got directed up this road, and she went, "Oh, Deb, you know where this is?" And I think I've mentioned this to you before. There's a square of woodland called Brackenborough Woods, and I think you've got a report from round there. I'm sure you looked it up for me. When we were younger, Elaine passed a driving test long before I did, and we used to go out on nights out to Louth, which is just a little market town.
Right.
And on the way home, past Brackenborough Woods was the most direct route. On the way out, it was fine, because obviously she was at the side of the road where the woods were. On the way back, I was right next to the woods, and oh my God, it didn't matter if I were drunk or not.
You could feel it.
Every hair stood up on my neck. And a lot of people have said that about those woods. But we went past last Monday. Yeah, a week last Monday. We went past, and I said, I know it's winter, but it looks like all the trees have sort of thinned out a bit. When we were younger, it was dense woodland.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they thinned some of the trees out, or it's just a natural, just because it's winter or what. But oh God, yeah. I said, I'm bloody glad it's daylight when we're coming past it, because if it had been night, there'd have been no chance.
Mark, have you ever been anywhere that's just felt off and you just left for no reason? Just like, oh. No. Yeah. Lucky bugger. Yeah. I was hoping you was going to give me like this. Yeah, actually, Deborah, there was this one
There is a, I don't see, you won't call it a stately home, I don't suppose. There's a place on the way to Keighley called East Riddleston Hall.
Right.
Just standing in front of that building and looking at it, you're like, oh, there's something you can tell. I mean, it's really old. I don't know if it's 16th, 17th century. You can pay to go around it. Me and my mum once did it.
Yeah, I get you, like I walk around.
But when we got in the kitchen, I said to her, it's all because everything's stone. Obviously, the table's stone and all these like things hung up. And I said to her when we got in there, there's something not right in this kitchen. Just, I don't know. If I felt something had happened in the kitchen, but I wasn't sure what it was. And I doubt I'd be able to find out really. But yeah, that whole house has got a creepy vibe.
there's a little wood where we used to live before we moved, and I didn't mind any of the backfields, could walk on, but there's just one little wood at the end that, it used to make my skin crawl.
Yeah.
I don't like Wilder's Wood on George's.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I ride past it, and I refuse to look in it as a ride past.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Roy not want to go anywhere, and he will hug Mark. He's gone from growling at it, hasn't he, to he'll go in, but he'll not run off like it normally. He'll go and have a mooch around, and Mark just waits. No, he hugs Mark's legs all the time like he's
yeah. Is that the one at Winter Hill?
Yeah, that little one where small car park is. That was where Claire, one of the listeners, she'd heard me speaking about it, and she went up there with a friend, and they were just sat there having a brew, like. And she said, to explain it to people, it's like it's as steep as a cow's face. It's just like that. So at the top of the moor, this guy just comes walking. Remember where we sat and had a little brew at that little coffee shop there? This guy comes walking down across into Wilder's Wood, but she could see through him.
Ooh.
She told me where he was coming from. I said, he could have come out one of the mines.
Yeah.
But it might have been going on, because there used to be a row of cottages in Wilder's Wood back in the day. You can still see like the old stone middens and
foundations and stuff.
Yeah. And I said to her, maybe that's where he was either going home from work, and he just did that so many times that he just was still doing it in spirit. A couple of weeks go by, and she said to me, Deb, does the name Winstanley mean anything to you? And I said, no, not at all. Well, but leave it with me, and I'll see what I can find out. And at the time, I'm working with the guys at the Paranormal TV unit on the TV show, and I'm researching like mining land kind of thing. God, I've just lost my thread, and I don't know why. Tell me the bit I said.
You were on about.
Don't just completely gone out of my mind.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Somebody chat.
We're not showing our age, are we?
Yeah, it was because I started thinking about what had happened, and it just suddenly went out of my brain.
We're on about the row of cottages in.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So I go out, and I'm on mining land doing this new report. So I've got to check the mining land. So I'm going through maps. That shaft's called the Winstanley shaft. And Deb, I had to dig to find that.
Yeah.
I found this old document from about the 1700s where they'd actually, the right to walk the moor, where the landowners had said, no, if you come up, you can't come on here. And there'd been this massive march, and it was mentioned that the men from the Winstanley pit. And I said to her, the pit's called the Winstanley pit. You won't believe it.
Wow.
Added into that, about 12 months later, I'm interviewing a guy on the same land, and I'm down there. And he's had experiences out in the woodlands with something that he describes as like a wild human. And there was a situation where him and his wife had just nipped out. And his daughter said something came to the house and was banging and ran tanning on the door. And she looked out the bedroom window, there was nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. And they had to drive home really quick. She was really frightened. And I'm not surprised she was a teenage girl in the house on her own. We're down there filming. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. It reminded me of Dyke, the nice bit.
Was there a nice bit?
Well, more towards the beach area.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go far in because it was really steep, and it was like big embankments, and you could imagine a caveman living in there.
Yeah.
Really could.
Yeah.
And obviously they want good film, don't they? So they want to get the drone up. They want to get me from every angle. And he's like, Debbie, step back a bit. And something in my head was like, no. And I was ignoring it because I want, don't take this wrong, folk, but I want to get in there and out there as fast as I can. I'm a great believer in doing one take, and then whatever that take is, that's what I'm bringing, because I'm not messing with it or doing it. That's me in my rawest.
Yeah.
And in my head's going, no. And I'm stood with Dave, and we're holding on to each other. And I start vibrating, and he starts vibrating. And he says to us, just one more step back. One more step back. And as we step back, Debbie, it was like, I felt like I'd just fell down this black, I don't know what it was. I felt dead sick. I was nearly on my knees. He was feeling it as well. He's trying to hold me up. And I just said, no, guys, I can't. and I had to step. It was like I'd stepped over a boundary.
Yeah.
And I asked him what was there, and he said it was a stream. So it was almost like, you're fine on that side, don't intrude.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
your
like,
that's your line.
yeah. He said, and then he said to me, right, Deb, just let Dave walk you up the road. Link Dave while he gets you up to the road, and we'll film you walking out. And as I said to him, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to throw. And he's like, you are white. And I was like, I know. And we're going to put it out. I look like me at the beginning of the interview. And by the end of it, I look about 150-year-old, completely sullen. And without people knowing, Mark got me in the car, and I was sick 3 times before we got home, wasn't I? I was physically, I couldn't get it out of me quick enough, Deb. I don't know what it was. I stepped into something that was really angry at me for doing that, because it gave me a number of warnings, and I was just trying to be like, you're trying to be as balanced as you can. Like, they need the shots and all that, but I can't be out there for that long. And it's like, right, guys, come on, let's do that. And they dead good in it. And it was no, I can't. I've got a step forward. I can't do it. I just couldn't get my breath or anything. I just started being sick. We had to stop the car 3 times, didn't we? Yeah.
Look at me in car park at Dyke.
Yeah.
Because I'd said I wanted to. Something told me I needed to be there on my own. So everybody else went off, and I stood there, and I couldn't hear anything. I kept hearing little noises and shining my torch around because it was pitch black. And for anybody that doesn't know Dyke, there's been quite a lot of reports of dogmen in Dyke and around Dyke. There's a homeless man that's lived in there for about 14 years. And I think he's only ever once admitted to hearing something strange, but he locks himself in his tent. He doesn't come out at night. There's been things seen on the road, because every time we passed the bloody road, didn't we, down to Dyke, we were all going, oh. It was the energy.
It you, didn't it?
Yeah. But we got down there in 2 cars, and when we got out, I said, right, I need to stop here. I've got to stop here with a torch, and everybody's going, no, you can't. You've got to come with us. I'm like, no, leave me here. Middle of nowhere, there was the cafe building, wasn't there, that were all shut up.
The little shack that shut up, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody disappeared off. I don't know whether you went down first or you went up. I can't remember, but anyway, I stood there and I kept hearing weird little noises, because there was like a grass area and then the trees all round. And I kept shining my torch, couldn't see anything. And then you came back to go the other way and shouted, "Are you all right?" I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, yeah. And I leant up. I started feeling, after you'd gone out of sight and I couldn't hear you, I started feeling really sick. It was like somebody had punched me right in my solar plexus. And I thought, Christ, I'm going to throw up. And I stood there, and like when you're panting and you're going all hot and cold. And I leant up against the wing of the car. And all of a sudden, I bent double. And then just as I was starting to feel all right and I straightened up, it felt like a buffalo had hit the other side of the car. It threw me off the car. It hit the other side of the car with that much force. It threw me off the car. And I'm like, I was just getting to the point where I was going to scream, and then I could hear you lot coming back in the torches. But yeah, that was the weirdest thing. But I felt like I needed to go through that, and I don't know why. I was compelled to stop there.
Right. I told you I picked up on a girl, mate, a dead girl in there, definitely. And it was like domestic violence. She kept saying, no, he'll come back for me. He always comes back for me. And I kept saying, no, you don't have to be here. You can move. She was like, no, he'll come back for me. He always comes back for me. And it felt like the 1970s. We were fine until we turned that corner into there. And I seen him in the car go like that.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like somebody had me round my throat, and he was like, I'm done. I'm sick of you. Like, I'm leaving you, kind of thing. And I think up on that. But I ended up throwing up, if you remember. There was like a little wooden fence thing at the side of the car. And I thought, everyone's going to see me throw up. And I couldn't, there was nothing I could do. I just had to like bend over the thing, and I was just sick. Yeah. And some places have that effect on you. If you're that empathic and you can pick up it, you've got to get it out, innit?
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing that comes over you, though, from nowhere. You're feeling 100% fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, no.
I just think we're taught to ignore it. Yeah. You're being silly. Like, or, if someone says, oh, I've just got a feeling something bad's going to happen today. And everyone, but I think you're supposed to, like, nurture that.
Yeah. I've found it's harder to ignore the older I've got. I've sort of, I think you do. You get on with stuff and you push stuff like that to one side. But I've kind of taken it more on board now. I'm getting a bit older. I don't know. I kind of go with my feelings more, my instincts more.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I would have just completely ignored it when I was
Yeah.
young. I was really good at getting myself into like, my mum used to say she's just clever enough to get herself in trouble.
Yeah.
But, and I always get a warning like not to do it, or and I still do it anyway. But now I listen. I do. Since that night on a Halloween when I went with me and him went out, and I said to him, "Have we got Blackleach?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went, I actually made the noise and I ignored it and went anyway.
Yeah, you see.
Since then, I have been sick and sick and sick and
Yeah.
sick. The whole Benson thing, and then sick and sick for like the last 3 years. I've been ill. Yeah, and just somebody said to me today, "Debbie, I've got a really thingy situation. Could you help me with it?" And I said, "No, I can't." Every time I do a clearing now, I feel a little bit sicker.
Yeah.
Like it's taking a bit of me each time. And
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, I can't fight every battle out there.
No.
I can't do it, you know. I mean, I'm going to do a live stream soon. The fact that BBR is changing, Deb, it's not going to be what it used to be. I can't do it anymore on one woman.
No.
So for me, I feel like I've been around long enough now that if you're looking for someone to partner up with or to go with an area with, get savvy and jump on the lives.
Yeah.
You know, I can't keep putting people together for them to argue amongst themselves, and then I've got to sort it all out, and they're like groups go up and then groups go down. And I thought I got to step back from that. I've got to concentrate on the witnesses. That's what's important.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
So I said to Mark, well, I was ready for walking away, and I just said to Mark, I can't do it all. And it was at the time I was talking to Katie, and Kate's lovely, and I'm thinking I can't do this. There's going to be another Katie.
Yeah.
From Katie explaining, 2 other people have come forward and said we've seen dogmen. I've seen that wolfman that she's seen, you know.
Yeah.
And it was 2 women the month before I spoke to her. And I thought, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I can't keep, you know, trying to get people together and get all of this done. And I've had some very strange photographs sent to me over the last 6 months from males that I've helped get. And I thought, that's the end of that one.
Yeah.
That's it, done, over and done. I'm not speaking to a lone male again on my own.
No, there's no need. There's no need for that.
No, so that's unfortunately there's always some bad apples in there.
There is.
So chuck them out and just like right. Well, from now on, I do the lives. We put a premiere out on a Saturday. There's Facebook groups, there's WhatsApp groups. There's a lot of stuff out there that people can get proactive. You can write in the comments now. You know, I'm in Billary. Is anybody else around? So like, I am going to have to step back and do. And you said it to me. You're like, you can't do all of it, can you?
No, you can't.
Do the bit that you're good at and you enjoy.
Yeah.
And all of the arguing and all of that, just
leave it behind.
Yeah, you got to let it go. Someone's been arguing with me all day, Debbie, about a dogman picture. What does it matter if I don't believe it's real?
Well,
in the scheme of things, that matters not a jar.
No, you're just one person.
Just an opinion, you know. My opinion is I don't think that picture is real, you know.
Well, look how many times we've seen the magic hula hoop circles round stuff, and you're like, what can you see that I can't see? Just, you know, you think you can see something, that's great, but if I can't see it, don't start arguing with me that I should be able to.
No, that's it. It's not always meant for everyone, is it?
No.
So like, you probably can see something in that, and I might not be meant to see that, you know. And if I can't. Or they'll get right nasty with me. They'll send me like photos and say like, "Oh, I found these like Bigfoot dens when I was out," and I'm like, right, that's a bushcraft shelter. I've taught our Layla and our Zane how to make them. I know exactly what it is. And I've had death threats and like, I'm not coming down. Whoa, mate, it's just a difference of opinion.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Scroll on, and I'll scroll that way, and then we don't have to bump again. And I got this really snotty comment there. Somebody wrote, I think that map of yours that you've written, I think you should take that down now.
Oh, why is that then?
It's served its purpose, hasn't it? I thought, well, maybe for you it has, but not for me, you know.
No, and not for the other people out there that have experiences all of a sudden in 2 years' time and want to look something up.
Yeah. Or there's a lot of people out there, Debbie, who say to me, I'm going on holiday to Dundee and I'm really scared. And I'll be like, well, I've had a look. well, I couldn't do Dundee. I'd have to say, well, there are a few reports there. You get what I mean? I'd be like, it happened in 1970. It's not a problem. It's not been a report there for 30 years, you know?
Yeah.
Like that, I think it's useful for that as well.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You know? But yeah, they get to tell me what I do with my map or not. And the absolute best, yeah, I can't remember what it was she said. Said she didn't like me because I was sarcastic. I'm not watching your stuff anymore. You're sarcastic. He said, oh, that worked out really well for both of us, then, did it? I'm sarcastic. It's my nature. Every person in English is sarcastic. It's an English thing, and it's what we do.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
Some better than others.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of the Dutchman incident there? It's a Scottish incident where there's a number of UFO sighted.
That sounds familiar. I haven't looked into it, but I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, I had the same thing. We were talking in the chat earlier, and one of the lasses in there had said to me that she's been to Detachment Law, and every time she approaches it, she gets this awful feeling as she's walking down the path.
Right.
And it's an area with a high number of UFO reports.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at paranormal reports right like that yet, because they're not my cases, the UFO ones, obviously. They came through MUFON, I think.
Yeah.
But I'll have a look at it now. It's popped up because it might be serendipity.
Yeah. I have heard of Dutchman, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that it comes up a bit like Pascagoula and what have you. It comes up and you think, oh, I'll check that out, and you never do.
You do. I do that as well, Deb. You can't watch every video that gets sent to you.
No, you can't.
Listen to every podcast. You can't. I try to. I really try to. But I've got to admit, I'm enjoying the lives. I do like listening to a live now because it's like, I don't know, I just kind of enjoy them a bit better, I think.
Yeah.
But I say to people, oh, please don't take it the wrong way, but it's like working with ice cream all day. You don't want to go home and have an ice cream when you're chilling.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I like a murder thing with him. I'll watch like a crime show, or I like Mr. Banks, and I'll watch them or whatever. And
I love all that.
Yeah, you've got to tune out. I have so much in my head, like I'm worrying about certain people at certain times. It drive me bloody crackers, wouldn't it? If I thought about all of the experiences I write down, I'd never leave the house. Yeah,
you need a bit of a break.
Yeah, you most definitely do. Katie, it was an honour and a pleasure speaking to you, sweetheart. And one day you will realise you are far more powerful than even I am. Yeah. I've been talking backwards and forwards. A chap got in touch with me, and he had a bereavement when his friends died at the Forth Road Bridge in Scotland.
Right.
About 2 years ago, he said, I like going up there, Deb, and just thinking about him, you know, when I'm grieving. Yeah. He drove up there. It was dark, but that could be any time from 2:30 in Scotland, you know, in the winter months.
Yeah.
But I think he meant at night. And he said, I'm sat there and the trees are like on an embankment, and I'm sat in the car and I'm thinking about him, and I look in the rearview mirror and there's this set of reddish orange eyes that are just glowing, really, just looking at him, and this awful feeling of dread, this something that just comes over you. And he said it was more than the grief. It was a feeling separate to that.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know how I did it, but I got out of the car. And when I looked, like I weighed it up where they were in the mirror, they'd have either had to have been about 8 foot tall, or they were up in the tree.
Right.
With the height. So he said, I went to see it with my own eyes, not through the mirror, and I got out and I couldn't. You could only see it through the mirror. Yeah. And he just said I couldn't drive out of there quick enough. I would have been exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's nothing, is it, that has red eye shine?
No.
Oh, there's me beard. Your long beard. How's them bees? Deborah, my beautiful co-host, her nickname in the UK is Bee.
Because Deborah is Hebrew for bee.
Lockbeard's a bee catcher. He's just been his local newspaper. He has in Colorado, I think.
Excellent. Oh God, keep saving them bees. I'm a bee whisperer.
Yeah, I'm a bee whisperer. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Lockbeard, the bee whisperer. That's cracking, that, Deb. Yeah. Steve White came up with a good one the other day. I was chatting to him backwards and forwards, and he said to me, you got any cases, Deb, where they describe like a baboon type creature? So I was like, yeah, Thetford. Loch Lomond, a few places really, at the top of my head. And he said that there's this creature in America called the Gugwe that's more of a baboon-like facial. So I sat down this week. I thought, right, I'll do a podcast on it. I was amazed how many they actually were, where people had reported 7 foot tall, hairy, upright, but also down on all fours, like a gorilla dance kind of thing, in the UK. And I was like, I thought, that's 12 that I found up to now, and that was just a quick scan kind of thing. And always with this description of, I don't know if it was a dog or a bear or a baboon. It had a snout, but not a long snout like an Alsatian or a Doberman, a shorter snout like a baboon. And I thought, that'd be fucking terrifying, that. So you
there's one when I was looking into the dog man up at where was it?
Oh, Moncton in Scotland.
Moncton. When I was looking into all that, there was a report of a baboon creature up there at Preston Airport.
Yeah, the police officers went looking for it.
Yeah.
For the Americans that are in, and anybody from across the world, Deb's been working a case for about 18 months now. Not Christmas before, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah. 21.
Do you mind saying the details out? Can you get them to mind quick? Because I can't, Deb. You know them better than me.
Basically, a lady was in Scotland. She lived in Airdrie, which was 53 miles away from Moncton. She was leaving Moncton. Don't know why she'd been there, but she broke down at about 11:30 at night. Was it somewhere like that? She called the rescue services, and then promptly left a car, and then the police came and reported the car as the rescue services, whoever it was, turned up, found the car abandoned,
and left,
reported it to the police as an abandoned vehicle, and she was found at, I think it was something like 4:30 the following day, dead, a mile from a car, in a field, and she was partially eaten by foxes and badgers.
Foxes and badgers.
Foxes and badgers.
There's no...
There are a lot of... she was 55 years old.
Right.
Just to know, I've noticed somebody say, was she an old woman? She was 55. So the same age as me, basically.
No, and me, yeah.
And, yeah, she'd been missing that length of time, but what was it, over 12, 15...
hours, yeah.
16 hours, something, but she'd been eaten by foxes and badgers, partially.
I wouldn't have left the car for a start, right, because I'm a 55-year-old woman on my own, right?
At night, 11:30 at night.
Yeah, I looked at where the car was, and if I was standing there, I would know that I would be able to see. But it's a small village, you would have been able to see the lights of the village.
Yeah, you would.
In that direction. But instead, I checked the weather, Deb. It was just 8 degrees.
Yeah.
It wasn't snowing. It wasn't really cold. She could have sat in the car quite easily.
Yeah.
What made her get out of that car? She didn't get out. I would have got out if I had to, and I don't know why I would, but if I had to, I would have walked the roadway on my way to the village. Yeah, because I can't open that a car's going to pass me either way. But she's not. She's done the complete opposite.
If you needed, say for instance, you broke down, you needed a wee, obviously there's fields and hedgerows and stuff, you wouldn't go a mile looking for somewhere to have a pee.
No.
You'd be able to find somewhere on a dark road, just even if it was at the side of the car. I
just go outside a car.
Yeah, some things, I think, my theory was, having looked into it all, was that something had scared her enough to set her running.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then whatever that was, I don't know. But yeah. But Moncton there's Prestwick Airport's nearby, and there's also a military installation as well.
Yeah.
And a woman, she was in her teens or whatever. She worked up there in, I can't remember what era it was, 80s or 90s or whatever, 70s. I can't remember now. She had to get through 2 gates to get into the military thing. She worked in an office in there.
Right.
And she heard a thump as she was walking through. She'd gone through the second gate. She was making her way to her building, and she heard a thump. And when she looked round, she thought somebody had fallen in front of these. It was almost like a big garage, like a storage shed with 2 doors.
Yeah.
And she could see something in front of the 2 doors on the floor. She thought somebody had fallen. And she kind of looked round, and when she looked back, it was what she described as, which everybody does, a werewolf. And it was stood up in front of these doors.
Mm-hmm.
She was horrified, and she kind of looked round again, and by the time she looked back, it was right up to her, snarling and growling. And it was towering over her.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, the little post truck that went round delivering the mail to all the officers, the little post truck turned up, and it growled at her once, and then it took back across to this storage shed and leapt in one leap over the fence at the side of it and was gone.
No.
But she said it was 7 foot tall. It had hands with claws on the ends, and it was snarling and growling at her. But it was really muscular but yeah. But she didn't tell anybody at work because, in fact, she left her job not long after that. She couldn't tell anybody at work because she knew that they wouldn't believe her.
Well, yeah, exactly. They just sent you to local loony bin, wouldn't they?
Of course they would, yeah.
But yeah,
then there was that report, like I say, about that baboon type creature at Prestwick Airport. Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up now. It was, I remember, because it was a case that the police ended up getting involved with. The police hunt the Ayrshire baboon. I just want to know what date it was. Police officers in Ayrshire. The first alert come in 11 days ago. There's no bloody date on it. Just go down to the newspaper report.
Is it up at the top?
Normally it is for me, but it's there. I'm just going to have to go out on my map and go and get it. But I won't get the right dates. It was.
Can I put it on?
Yes, please, love. I would love a broom. 1999.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A police traffic patrol car sped to the scene and 2 officers spotted the animal, but it vanished into the undergrowth and they got within 30 yards of it.
Yeah.
So they didn't see it. They got eyes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a case in, I think it was called Monkton Combe. That was quite an old case of like a baboon type thing. And it was a similar situation where the villagers were reporting it and the police just weren't taking, any notice of it.
Yeah.
But last night when I'm working with a witness from the Forth Road Bridge and we're chatting backwards and forwards and I'm trying to explain the map to him and I'm saying, look, I put things on the map so I can see if there's a route or there's like a cluster of things.
Yeah.
And there was a line of blue peas. And if you're me, a blue pea on the map means I've got the site in here ready to go. I just haven't done the spelling. Yeah, just not changed the spelling and tidied it up and put it across.
Yeah.
And each one of those peas was from a different witness over the last 6 months. Just in a line, following the river, basically just following the river along.
Yeah.
And it's something I've been working on for months now, like cryptids seen near water courses, and they are.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Yeah, they are. And that, I must explain, Montrose's just off the coast.
Yeah, it is. It's right next to the coast, isn't it? Prestwick Airport's right on the edge.
Yeah. I spoke to a woman in Maybole, which is just up the road, and she said in the 70s she was in the car with mum and dad. I said her dad was a big bloke, one a bloke that you'd mess about with.
Yeah.
And they were coming through the Carrick Hills. And she said her dad went, what the fucking hell's that? And this huge beast, as he called it, ran up into the woodlands. And she said he stopped the car and got out. And my mum was like,
I think I do.
Yeah, she said, and nobody believed him. She said, and when I heard about you and what you do, I was like, oh, my dad wasn't lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad was telling the truth. And it's like, well, if you're dealing with something flesh and blood, it's going to follow that coastline, isn't it? Because that's where all the food sources are.
That is, yeah.
But it's also an ancient place with lots of standing stones and menhirs. There's taught that there's an ancient labyrinth below it.
Yes. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, there's something on top of it, isn't there?
They built like a tourist one on top of it now.
Yeah.
But the local law is that there was an actual labyrinth with a beast below it. And I spoke to one chap that was able to tune into it. And he said like he was, in all honesty, he didn't want any publicity. He just wanted to tell me the experience, and it was quite private, so I'm not going to go into too much more.
Yeah.
But he said it was an ancient beast that was down there, and he was just really pissed off at people taking walking the dog on there and letting ride motorbikes and all of that, like what we do in modern times. And it was like an ancient energy that were pissed off, and I've been encountered that before. But we forget, don't we, that even though there's an housing estate on that land, what's below.
It was what was there before and what's underneath. Yeah.
Me and you went to Esholt, and if you described Esholt on paper, you'd think, what was the point of going? There's a sewage works there, there's a railway line.
It's a massive sewage works and all in it.
Yeah, and
huge area.
They just drive like mountain bikes up and down the hills and stuff, don't they, Debbie? It's just a bit of a leisure play. but the feeling there when I got out of the car nearly knocked me on my knees, and you did actually end up falling, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, whoop, it was just this. Like Dyke again, it was just this really, but I couldn't get a read on him. I could not get a read on anything. It was just like every time I tried, it was just, and I just thought
the only thing we picked up on was that it was pissed off about all of, because there was where they'd made the tracks for the BMX bikes, there was all the litter, wasn't there, like cans and stuff scattered about, and he was pissed off that the ancient woodland was being treated with disrespect.
Yeah.
That's what we picked
kind
up
of
on.
Understandable rage, that, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it is.
What the hell are you doing, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just having a quick scan.
There was something else we were going to say then. Yeah, because like Dane's Dyke as well, that's an ancient place. That was a defence.
Yeah.
And it also leads down to the sea. I mean, that beach, I've never seen a beach like that, have you?
No, it was just full of hagstone.
Every pebble was a hagstone. And the pebbles were, some of them were bloody huge. But yeah, they were all hagstones on the beach. But it's, yeah, there you go. I've got some behind me on my shelves.
Yeah, well, it fits in my hand.
Yeah. I've got one that's got finger things in it like a hold.
That's what Dane's Dyke. We got a few, didn't we, when we went down?
Yeah, we did, yeah. We did a bit of harvesting.
Roy's obsessed with this. He rolls it around the house and everything. Oh, he's obsessed with it. Like it's a ball. It must be a smell in it or something that he likes. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Could be the salty sea, because it's quite a beach, is that? I mean, we couldn't walk on them bloody pebbles, could we? It's outside and after that one.
The seaside nicked me lip. I know I've got no railings in at the minute because I'm having my dental stuff done, but it nicked me lips.
Yeah.
I got home and I was like, I had to get that Bob's beeswax on it and everything. I've never encountered salt like that in my life. No, and I've stayed on the northeast coast before, loads of times.
Yeah. I remember licking my lips up way back uphill and thinking, oh, that feels like I've been dousing myself in salt. It was quite a salty area.
Salty, but the beach was lovely. It was it was like the wooded area, wasn't it, that were awful.
Oh, yeah.
It was absolutely awful. It really, really was. But I think lots of people report that it's awful and it's not a place you want to. I mean, Bempton itself, I'll never go back to Bempton. I will never go back to Bempton.
No.
I just won't. I didn't like the energy. I couldn't shake it. I'd never go back there.
It was very weird. No, when we came back and we got back to the caravan, and I said, we were stood outside having a smoke, and I said to you, I feel like I'm being watched, and then I could see a shadow around one of the caravans, because it was out of season, wasn't it? There weren't many people around us.
And it was right quick, wasn't it, when it moved? It was like what Corey said before, it was like...
And you said, I've just seen something behind you. We couldn't get in that bloody caravan quick enough.
No. I don't know. It was just the entire air. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. And then Emma and Sarah went up.
Yes.
And they had an experience. Somebody asked me if I'd got an update on it. Fiona asked me that. Sarah and Emma saw 3, what they described as like dog-like creatures down on all fours running.
Yeah.
At the time, and there's not anything out there. It's an old military base in it, and there's a lighthouse, and typical English seaside that you would think of. But at night it's black. You just can't see an any base. Like,
you
can understand something mooching around out there, can't you?
The atmosphere at night is completely different to during the day.
So you looked up other military sites for me. Do you remember? You did look at the military sites, and I looked, and we could put sighting reports between 2 of them, like Maplethorpe, Salt Fleet.
Yes.
Reports that people had seen stuff between the military bases, even old military bases. That's carried on for me, Deb, because I've had quite a few reports from American soldiers that are reporting things when they've stayed at the bases here, that they've reported like to their lieutenants and whatever, I don't know. You know me.
Superiors.
Yeah, they're superiors kind of thing. And I try saying to them that the English can't do that. I've worked with a number of soldiers that have just been given a ticket out because of what they've saw.
Yeah.
PTSD. You just stamp that PTSD on them and out they send. The lad that was at the Bourke Road Bridge said to me, I'm 6'4", me, Deb. I'm a big Scotsman. And it dwarfed me. Yeah. Whatever it was, it absolutely dwarfed me. And I said to him, if you had to name it in 3 seconds, what would you name it? And he went, Dogman. And I went, well, go with that, because that's what your gut's telling you. And we have a lot of reports, don't we, that red, orangey eye shine that come from the dog-like people. October's brought something up there that she's connected to water. I use the elements, me. That's how I do my magic. It's all about the elements for me. I think each person has a different way of doing it, don't they? That's what the women's group's about, is trying to. I don't know, I'd miss you there. I don't want Katie's generation and Louise and Sarah and all the rest of them and Emma to be in their 50s like I was before I got comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
I want them to do it when they're in the 20s and the 30s. And I say to each of them, nobody believes me that 10 years ago I wouldn't have been able to sit on this, not even have a telephone call, let alone do this.
No.
Because I'd been taught my entire life that what I was picking up on was anxiety, mental health, bad depression. I've had every label under the sun until I accepted that people and places can affect me.
Yeah.
I told you our Jodie was the same. I'm not saying when I did it, but I did a talk a number of years ago.
Yes.
And I sat in the green room and Jodie's out the front because the talk's going on. And she wouldn't come and speak to me because she knows I'm doing my notes and getting ready to go on stage. And as she walked in the door, she was white. And she went, Mum, we've got to go. And I went, why, darling? She went, there's a man out there. And I'm telling you now, Mum, he's as black as sin outside, and I've seen everything that he's done. And it was only the guy who was running the conference. Honest. And like I got it through it as quick as I could now, and then we got out of there kind of thing. And then it did come out much later that there was a kind of a problem, and she was like, see, I told you. I did not believe you. It was just a really awkward situation to be in. She's clearly picking up on something, and I've got to listen to her, but I'm trying to paint a smile on my face and just get through my talk as quickly as I could so that
because you can't turn around and say, my daughter's got an icky feeling, I think we need to go.
No. But like, I mean, now she's learning to trust it now. She's in her 30s, isn't she? But Erica took to it like a duck to water. It's really easy for her to accept. It's different for everybody. It really, really is.
It is,
Yeah. I just don't want people to be like my age when they're like, actually, I am neurodivergent. My brain does not work the same way as everybody else that can watch. I can't watch telly 24/7 and neither can you. Yeah. I can't plug in all the time to society. I just can't do it. You know, and you see like Steve and lots of them in the chat are exactly the same.
Yeah.
We have to live that life because that's what society is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And from the minute you go, what's that? When you're a kid and they go, don't be silly. Stop. You know, it's you just had a nightmare. It's an imaginary friend. You know, what do you mean?
I was lucky because I never got told that.
I did. And how many kids do we know, Deb, that saw a wolf in the bedroom when you were little? You were one of them, weren't you? You had an experience with a wolf in your bedroom when you were little.
No, I haven't.
You've always been frightened of them when you were younger, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I had a fear of not wolves but werewolves ever since I can remember, and I don't know why, because I'd never been exposed to them. The first film I saw was way after, and the first film that I saw, I remember thinking, oh my God, they are real. But I don't know where that fear ever came from, because my mum didn't, but she didn't.
Yeah.
She wasn't keen on them sort of horror films. She liked more psychological horror films like Halloween and stuff like that. She wasn't into monsters and things. So
like Psycho and stuff. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
We did really. And we got to explain to the Americans we only had 3 channels.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
You see, it wasn't, and they went off at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, the last, you just got a white little dot, and that were it. England shut then until next morning.
That's it, yeah.
We didn't have 24-hour telly out, did we?
No.
And it wasn't, we weren't peppered with films like we are nowadays. I remember like The Blob, you know, the big American films, because they'd go on the cinema, wouldn't they, like James Bond and stuff like that. But actually sitting down at home and watching horror movies, don't think that was the thing until my dad bought a Betamax.
Yeah.
You know, but even then we were like banned from watching them.
It were all like period dramas when I were a kid. It were like, you soap operas like Coronation Street and upstairs, downstairs, and all that kind of thing. Or comedies and all.
Yeah, Crossroads. It was like just like, and then we got American TV, so we got like the Fonz. That was amazing, and like Dinner, didn't we? And the Colbys and all of that.
Alice
that was the 80s, wasn't it? That before we got that. Yeah. I remember a dog in my bedroom as a little girl biting at my feet, and they used to say, "It's just growing pains. It's just your legs growing," and it'd be like, "No, it's like
I know it's not.
I know it's not." But yeah, I used to get all the time. I was not. But lots of kids do.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
You see something in the room at night and it frightens him, and that's it then. Once you're scared as a kid, you kind of open yourself up, aren't you, to more of it.
Yeah.
I was working with
mine was curiosity, because it was the little framed pictures that went up and down, like 12 of them, and disappeared off into the corner of the room. And then when the last one had gone through, I knew that it was bedtime, but that was more curiosity. I wasn't scared. They came through, because my mum always left me bedroom door ajar, and they came through the bedroom door, and it was like, you remember back in 80s when they had the little oval frames, and they had like
the glass bubbles,
metalwork round them.
Yeah.
And it was like the heads of the pictures inside were like heads of old kings and queens, and carriages, like royal carriages and things, and they used to go up and down in front of me. They were spaced out, I don't know, to about 6 or 8 inches in between each one. And they go up and down like that. And then when the last one, which was about the 10th or 12th, went into the corner, I turned over and went to sleep. And that happened for, I don't even know how long, probably about 6 months at the least.
So you were seeing energy back then, weren't you? When you
we're only about 4. Something like that.
I was really scared of it, mate. Proper scared.
No, I didn't. It was just curiosity with me, because I was looking at pictures as they were going up and down.
Do you know that'd be brilliant if it was like that? Or if someone had said to me that, like, this is normal, kids see this stuff. I don't think I would. It was fear of the unknown for the start.
Yeah.
And I think some negative started to feed on me. I'm absolutely convinced of that. I am now. I didn't know all of my life. My night terrors stopped when I was in the old house. Roy went, whatever it was that wakes me up at night and comes from me. He knew 20 minutes. Yeah. And it stopped, but it started again. It started again here, and I had a really bad one last night.
That's no good.
And I don't know why it started again. Maybe I've got a bit lapse on my protection and my grounding. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
But I can't see him now. So I used to see that like a dark shadow outside of my bed. Mark, could you open the back door? It's really warm in here. And now I can't. I'm waking up and I know he's been near me and he's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But all the doctors keep telling me it's a physical thing and a pill will stop it. 20 minutes before he started, and Mark's like, shh, you're going to wake mum up. Shh, you're going to make mum up. And he said, you shot up in bed, but a split second before you shot up in bed, he was at the door.
He was at it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not something in here, if he can pick up on it.
No, it's not.
Can you open it?
Shut me, don't we?
Yeah, but no, it come back again last night and it was bad. And that, I think, what must my neighbours think? Because I'm screaming and like shouting when I come round. And But yeah, I said to Mark today, I'll have to probably go back to the doctor and see if he can do it. I don't know what to do, Deb, to make it stop.
It's been going on so long though, hasn't it? Like Margaret's just saying, I cleanse with mugwort plant. You give me a mugwort.
Yeah.
See,
I've let all that slide. I've not been doing that. Normally, you come to the house and I'd have things hung up all over, didn't I, drying?
Yeah.
Not done that. Not done any of that. I'm not going up top as much as I used to. Since the accident, I've been a bit nervous in car.
Yeah.
I don't get in it because we were parked up.
Yeah.
If we'd have been driving, I could have got it. If we were at a junction, I could have got it. But we were parked up, and he just hit us from behind.
Yeah.
And made me really nervous. And I'm not, you know me, Deb, I'm not a nervous person.
No, you're not.
But I get in car now and I'm like, it's like I'm on horse. I've got my feet ready, I'm on balls on my feet.
Got your imaginary brakes ready.
Yeah, and I think it might be that. I think I might be going through a bit of stress.
Yeah, possibly.
And I've let me protect, my rituals lapse a bit,
Yeah.
So I'll have to just get onto that. I've not been moonbathing. I forced myself to go out the last 2 months and go and have a bed because I've not been doing it. So I was like, no, Mark said to me last week, right, come on, we're going out. Yeah, and I did enjoy that. I got to admit, I really enjoyed that.
We've had a lovely full moon this last couple of days.
It's been beautiful, hasn't it, there? The sky's just been beautiful.
Yeah.
I think we live in an amazing country, don't we? And I don't think we all realise that.
No.
Yeah. You lot had Northern Lights not that long ago.
I know, and I bloody missed it. Mind you, I wouldn't have been able to see them from where we were, but I missed them. They were pinky purple.
My mum's always wanted to see them. She always wanted to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah, I know.
Ah, Lindsay's been, hasn't she, Mark? Lindsay and Megan went. They went to see the Northern Lights, I remember. Stayed in Norway. Broke down. Said we were driving. We got lost or broke down, one or the other. She said, and there's this little farmhouse there, and this guy comes out and says to her, like, oh, it's fine. Park your car here. And just, obviously not in a Lancashire accent.
Yeah.
Park your car here for night, and then in the morning, we'll get you on your way kind of thing. And they did. She said they were lovely. And when she got up the next day, he was only like the Prime Minister of Norway. She went, you want to know? And he just lived in this beautiful little Norwegian cottage off a lake kind of thing. And he's like, no, it's fine. Just, just stay here for the night. You'll be absolutely fine.
Nice one.
I know. But I mean, they don't even have a crime rate over there, do they?
Nah. Oh, no.
No, not like us. I'm not keeping you up, am I, Deb?
No, love. I've just chased Bob's double off. We've got a double. They were looking at each other yesterday for ages. And I thought, do they think it's a mirror?
Have you got another cat?
I've got another cat, yeah, but that's a neighbourhood cat that's just come in.
Oh, I get you. Like, so it's like, is he adopted you, Deb?
No, that one, Anne. We've been adopted by a black and white kitten.
Oh.
Who I've called Spooky.
Spooky, that's a cracking name.
Oh, Spooky. She's spooky.
How's Bob with Spooky?
He's tolerant. Lucy came round because we went on a ghost hunt a couple of weeks ago. So when Lucy came round, she'd not been here. She'd only been here a couple of days, and she went, bloody hell, you're doing well. She said, my cats won't even be in the same room together.
Yeah, it can take a while, can't it?
Yeah, but she's full of mischief. She never stops. But
when they're kittens, they're lovely, aren't they?
She's just been in season. And she had quite a lot of friends in the back garden.
Isn't the local cat lady?
God.
When I had our Domino, she was like a big staffy rescue, wasn't she, Mark? And everyone wanted to mate off her. And I was like, no, she's not having a litter of pups. I don't want her to. She's too young and all of that. So I keep her in when she was on. I just have a queue of dogs. And we had a woman lived down the road. Remember the Jack Russell called Suggs? And it jumped through the window to get out to come to us. So he's outside my window. He's jumped out of his mum's house and he's outside my window. I keep phoning, your dog's here again. I'm sorry. Really sorry, but what can you do? There's not a lot you can do, is there?
Oh, we had a queue out here. Sadly, I didn't catch on to the fact that she'd actually come into season until it was probably a bit too late. And by that time, it was too late anyway. So,
it's this time of year, there's loads of kittens about. Jodie's getting up. She's dog mad. Like Jojo, she's just dog mad. I give in. I said to my mum, at least it's not a dodgy fella or anything. It's going to be a lot of animals. She wants a goat and a llama next. And all that.
No, I'd have an alpaca over a llama.
Probably not have I. I like them. Really, really cute. I like the tiny feet, but they're a bit mean.
Yeah, they can be, yeah. Alpacas are not as mean as llamas, though. I think llamas are good.
Always do a difference. Right. Well, I didn't know that. We might be getting an alpaca.
No, we won't.
He still won't buy me.
Mark, it'll keep your grass down, love. You won't have to get mower out.
See, Deb said keep grass down. Do it. I don't like that. They come in for loads of stuff. You get free cheese and everything. You could have I don't know. I'll look it up online. There'll be a good reason for us to get one.
You could have socks. You can use alpaca wool.
Yeah, alpaca wool. So I'll knit your entire outfit. I can't knit, but I'll get someone to knit you an entire alpaca. Don't do that. I thought you loved
I still need to see that.
Like Bob Ross on his holidays. I'm only kidding. You don't look like that. We don't look like that. I didn't earlier, but I don't know. I'll have to see what the homeless Colin Farrell's doing. Cracks up laughing. He doesn't know I say that. I say that to him. Yeah. But he says I'm like an angry little Tweety bird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little Tweety bird who's angry all the time. We love each other, really, don't we?
Yeah, you do.
You do. I was fast asleep on there. Normally now, Deb, when he sees his camera come up, he's like, he tries to get around here now and get like on the camera and everything. He's got out of that habit of, mum's working and out.
Photo bombing.
Yeah, now he's
video bombing.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I haven't been able to chat to anybody tonight or say hello or anything because, like I say, I haven't had my computer on in at least
Yeah,
8 months, something like that. So when I fired it up, all these things were flashing at me, and I'm like, I have no idea.
Oh yeah, you'll have to do all of that again, won't you? All updates, yeah. I didn't think that. But are you glad you done it now? Are you glad you done it?
Yeah. Nice to gently dip my toe back in.
Yeah, that's it, innit? No pressure. I don't know that.
I still can't say when I'm back because obviously I've still got loads to do and
whenever you feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. When my Wi-Fi starting to go. When you feel like it is the answer to that, darling. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I've kept you an hour and a half, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. It's gone quick.
I have really missed you. Yeah, I've really,
I've missed you all too.
You've got to tell somebody when you've missed them, haven't you? And I have. I've really missed you.
I've missed you.
Hello, idiots. Come on, you want to see Deb?
Hello, Roy. Where are you?
He can hear you, but he just
Roy.
Oh.
Here. There he is.
There he is.
Big lad, look at you. Hello, Roy. Oh.
The big murder.
I'd have shown you my kitten, but I think she disappeared off upstairs.
Oh, you have to pop it on next time for me. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that, folks, because I did. I really enjoyed that. It was really, really fun. And thanks to Nikki for tuning in. Nikki does her own. If anyone wants to share the links, get them in there now. I forgot to
in the chat.
Yeah, Joel's probably already done it for me. But yeah, check out everybody else's live feeds because you're going to find one that you really enjoy. Yeah.
And if you want to know about the Moncton Dogman one, go on my Joel put it up for me. Go on my channel and it's one of the videos in there.
What I'll do, Deb, in the description now when it ends, I'll pop your channel in the description so they can pop over and subscribe to you. Yeah, because she's got a lot. There's a lot. If you like a happy 20 minutes when you're driving along or when you're tidying up, Deb doesn't. She doesn't do the big long ones like me.
No, so half an hour's my limit, but I cover all sorts from true crime to spooky stuff to all sorts.
Yeah, she does. There's a bloody good channel. So we'll be back with you at some point. I'll be back with a live at some point as well next week, probably with my grandson.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. I probably might just do a random one as well on that. So y'all have to go scurry like Deb's on.
Keep them on the toes.
Yeah. But right, I shall see y'all next week then. Night, everyone.
Night, everyone. Thank you. Love you all.